First, I would like to thank Ashford University for allowing me to present. And I would like to also thank my professor, Dr. Amy Rogers, for not only encouraging me to present, but also giving assistance when I needed it. Hello, everyone. My name is John Beaver. I'm a Marine Air Traffic Controller. I've served for almost 12 and a half years. As a Marine, I've been to Southern California, Arizona, Japan, Thailand, the Philippines, and now I'm in Quantico, Virginia. In addition to controlling, I have worked as an instructor, a liaison with foreign controllers, a crew chief managing the 12 to 25 controllers that would work a shift, and now I am the training chief, responsible for an entire training program at my facility to include tests, simulations, on-the-job training, our facility manual that instructs everything that has to do with ATC at my facility. I've just completed my third degree from Ashford. I have a bachelor's in early childhood education, I have a bachelor's in history, and now I've got my Master of Arts in special education. Some of you may think that working in the military and trying to get a master's is going to be pretty busy, and let me tell you, it is. I'll give you some insight into what the last few months has been like for me. At work, I'm required to maintain a certain number of hours on each position I'm qualified on, as well as in ensuring all the other controllers maintain the number of hours they're required to maintain. I have to maintain the training standards for all training positions. We currently have 8 to 12 different positions that someone can be training on at any given time. And I have to make sure that the instructors are doing what they're supposed to as instructors, as well as the students doing what they need to do as students. Additionally, I've been preparing for an inspection that every Marine and Navy air traffic control facility goes through on an 18 to 24-month cycle, making sure all of our paperwork, documentation is up to the standards, making sure we have documentation for everything we've done with training, making sure the students are doing what they're supposed to, again, the instructors, all that gets inspected for quality assurance. While working on those preparations, I was also required to conduct a survey on my facility's approaches, departures, and safety parameters for air traffic control. On top of that, I'm my unit's suicide prevention program officer, and I was responsible for coordinating a suicide prevention training event for over 100 Marines within my unit. In addition to this, I was also tasked with providing a presentation on the Battle of the Wilderness for a learning event that my unit was conducting. And this was just what I had to do for work. At home, my wife and I, we were preparing our oldest son for pre-K. Then we had a party that we planned for my youngest son's second birthday. I was also completing this degree and preparing this presentation. In addition to that, up until about a month or so ago, I was also mentoring undergraduate students through the CHAMPS peer mentorship. My plate was quite full, and it was busy, but I persisted and succeeded through motivation. Within the military, motivation can be viewed as a leadership trait by some or a nuisance to others. In fact, motivation has been the subject of numerous studies conducted within the military in order to better understand how it can be used to enhance the military. And this is why I believe my military experience has better prepared me for school by developing my own intrinsic motivation. And intrinsic motivation is based on internal and personalized rewards rather than external factors such as grades, reimbursement, a bonus, or even just praise. So according to Dan Pink, there are 3 components that make up intrinsic motivation. You've got autonomy, mastery, and purpose. Autonomy is the ability to choose. This can be choosing a field of study, or how a lesson is delivered, or how you learn in a field of study. Mastery refers to a desire to be better because it is important to do so. And purpose plays off mastery. It involves learning or doing an activity because it is a contribution to society or something that is bigger than ourselves. These components are important for learning because studies have shown time and time again that external motivators are detrimental to increasing critical thinking. If educators want to improve student performance, which is necessary in the 21st century because we have so much more technology and the way to learn has rapidly evolved, we must foster this intrinsic motivation, not just as students, but as teachers. This is something that I've achieved through the military. I will be discussing each component and how the military has contributed to my intrinsic motivation. Many may think there is little autonomy within the military. I would say it depends. In the field of air traffic control, I have more autonomy than an infantry Marine because I work the air traffic. I determine which aircraft will land or depart in what order I deem most appropriate. When instructing a student, As an instructor, I will ensure that student knows and understands the various rules that's applied to that position he's working. I may even give him a few techniques that work for me, but ultimately, when he's plugged in, it is his position. He works the air traffic the way he deems necessary. I'm only there to make sure he doesn't break rules and he keeps everybody safe. So they have their autonomy within air traffic control and the Marine Corps. When it comes to conducting professional military education, or PME, there are specific requirements and parameters, but then we also have choices. We are required to attend certain PME courses, but we're also free to attend inter-service courses. So I can go and attend an Army class or an Air Force class if I wanted to. We can attend classes organized by military agencies, but they aren't specific to a field. So I could go and do jump school. It has nothing to do with what I do as an air traffic controller, but if I wanted to, I could go do jump school. I could go do Navy dive school. And as Marines, we're encouraged to read from a vast selection of books to further our knowledge. And this is just a small sample of the autonomy that just about any Marine can experience. During school, I'm able to read and complete my assignments at my own pace, but within certain parameters, obviously. And this allows me to maintain fluidity when tackling multiple assignments for school, those tasks I described earlier for work, and juggling the responsibility of being a husband and father. And this opportunity, however, may not be understood by other students. I have already attended Ashford. Like I said, that is my third degree. So I'm very familiar with how the schedule works. When I was mentoring the undergraduate students, it was a little bit of a struggle for them to understand how to better manage their time to meet the 5-week or 6-week course program and that Tuesday to Monday work week or school week. So then not all students are familiar and comfortable with this schedule. So I've had to work under very rigorous and stressful conditions. And so being allowed to maintain this relaxed pace, doing everything at my own pace, I was able to actually provide a lot of my work early enough to receive constructive feedback from my teachers and my peers. And it also gave me a sense of accomplishment. And that was my internal motivator, was the sense of accomplishment, and the external motivator, which was my grades, was just a bonus, a reflection of that. And for mastery within the military, each branch believes they are the best. I believe that's why our service is as good as it is. And even within the services, we think we're better than other little MOSs, other jobs within the military. So as a Marine, I want to be better than a soldier, a sailor, guardsman, or airman. And additionally, I want to be better than other Marines. And this competition is, again, what makes our military so great, in my opinion. And then when it comes to controllers, let me tell you, we all think we are the best. And we will argue almost daily on why and how we are the best. I guarantee you could walk into any Marine control tower or radar room, and you will likely hear a conversation about how one controller is better than another. They'll talk about a scenario. What would you do, just to see if they can mess them up? It's just how we are. But practice and constant learning is how we got to be better, to the point where we can argue, hey, I'm better than you because I would handle it this way. It's through practice and constant learning, or mastery. In order to be a better training chief, I decided I needed to get a master's degree. I knew that I would be a training chief probably for several more years before working my way up to being in charge of an entire unit of controllers. So I had a choice of either a master's in psychology or special education. Being that I work with Marines, I thought special education would probably be the better option. I don't think psychology degree would really help me. I'm a Marine and I don't even understand Marines sometimes. So this program has provided me with several tools that I've used outside of a normal classroom, and even in situations in which an individual doesn't have special needs. I found a lot of the information very relevant to what I do as a training chief now. And this drives me to be better at what I'm learning. It drives me to work hard at everything I do. I want to fully understand a topic before I move on to another. During my school, I would look at multiple sources with varying viewpoints, and then it would allow me to create a paper or a discussion or an assignment that had a lot more depth instead of this is what this person said, that's what I'm supposed to read, here we go. This mastery, this desire to just be the best allowed me to do extra work just because I wanted to. Now, what greater purpose is there than serving and protecting your country? I can only think of maybe a few. And this purpose is an obvious one for the military. But for me, I also have a purpose of providing my Marines with the best leadership I can, giving them learning experiences and military opportunities that will promote and retain them. As I previously mentioned, this is also what my purpose for attending school was. I wanted to be better. I wanted to be a better training chief and a better leader. Here was my way of doing it. I also enjoy learning and honestly felt it was about time to go. It had been several years since my last bachelor's, so I thought I'd return and get this master's. And probably in a few years, I'll inevitably go and try and pursue a doctorate, but that's for down the road. My purpose within each class, though, is to obtain as much knowledge as possible on that subject. And I also secretly felt it was my duty to assist my peers, which happened in almost every class I was in. I had just as much pride in the work I submitted as I did in knowing I was able to contribute to my other fellow classmates' work, their assignments, or even their discussions as well. And I also wanted to provide a positive role model for my boys. I could probably continue all the reasons why I have a purpose for attending school, being a better Marine, everything that I do, there is a purpose behind it. And it's usually an intrinsic purpose, not some external factor. But I don't want to bore you to death. So I think you understand that my purpose in work, school, and life is multifaceted, and it directly affects my motivation in various ways. So in light of my story, I would like to offer 3 challenges to the faculty and staff. First, I challenge you to find inventive ways to increase and promote autonomy among the students. Next, I ask that you invest in the education of all students and provide opportunities to increase the non-traditional approaches to learning, such as video chats, an interactive PowerPoint that you can upload, or some other kind of presentation. One of my teachers, the best teacher I had, Dr. Amy Rogers, she used these video messages for our discussions, and I felt I got more out of that than reading the same thing over and over again. And finally, connect the assignments, class, or even the degree to a purpose meaningful to the student. And I know these classes are only 5 to 6 weeks, but again, I've had several exceptional instructors while attending Ashford, and the ones that were exceptional were the ones that either A, found inventive ways to deliver the materials instead of just having us read a chapter, read these articles, do the assignment. They found different things we could do that would enhance our learning. They found ways to connect the assignments. They showed us that, hey, I'm not having you do this assignment just to meet this goal for your degree. This is why I want you to complete this assignment. I want you to get better so you understand how it applies when you finish this school. So those were the teachers that were the best. And I'm sure most of you do already these things. So, but don't worry, you're not the only one I'm tasking. Any students in the audience, I have a challenge for you as well. I ask that you self-reflect and examine what your motivators are for attending school. Are you earning a degree for fun like I was? Working toward a progression in your career, kind of like I was? Bored and needed something to do? What about when you are working on an assignment? Are you really putting forth all that effort, or do you execute the minimum to pass? Perhaps when you reflect on your motivators and you begin to study how it affects your learning, you will begin to see an increase in your productivity, and the external awards will increase naturally. So as I've discussed, attending school while working and taking care of a family can be busy, no matter the career. However, the components of intrinsic motivation that have been developed through my service in the military push me to persevere. I have the autonomy to complete my classes on a schedule that works for me. I strive to do and be better at my job, and I know that I will still be able to contribute to society even after my military service ends. And I'm confident that all students have a little bit of intrinsic motivation within them, or else they would not be attending Ashford. They wouldn't be here. So hopefully I've given you the insight to allow you to foster that motivation and enhance the success of everyone here at Ashford.